issue with the board for quite a few months now. And I want a motion that we use Steve Barshoff, and I'll tell you why. Because we really want to do this right the first time, and we don't want to have to do it over. And this is no blemish on any other legal counsel we might consider engaging. The reason I want to do this is because Steve Barshoff has guided us through the court case. He knows the history of the Como, he knows the history of the case, and he is very familiar with all the documents involved and with the Land Conservancy. We're looking at a new amendment to the easement, and I don't want this to be taken lightly. I think we have to be deadly serious about what we're doing here. It's permanent, it's forever, it's in perpetuity. That may sound better than forever, but basically it is forever. And I'm making a motion, if someone will second it, that we use Steve Barshoff to do this.
Chris? Steve Barshoff was the attorney for Saif Paget, who inherited the case from Bill Ginsburg, who was doing the work for pro bono.
Yes.
When Steve Barshoff took over the case, he began with an agreed price of $100 an hour. Without a resolution, it moved up to $150 an hour. Now, attorneys sometimes do that with their contracts, that they'll raise their fees from time to time as needed. Around the day that I took office, 18 months ago, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't know what the original agreement was, it went to $200 an hour, which is $50 more than we pay our town attorney or our land use attorney. Per hour. At the organizational meeting in every January, we set our attorneys. We set a town attorney and a land use attorney. Now, last year, because the case was still going on, we had a question about, was the town allowed to remove diseased and damaged trees, and was the town allowed by the draft agreement to extend the parking lot of the Upper Como up to 1 acre to the western tree line. This is all covered and documented in section 3 and 4 of the easement. But you and perhaps other members of the board were uncomfortable with moving forward unless we got an opinion from the attorney. So you said, Jeff, I don't want to move forward until we get an opinion from Steve Barshoff. I said, fine, Chris, I'll write an email. I wrote an email to Mr. Barshoff, and he agreed to respond, and a couple of weeks later, we got a 6-page document. And then a couple of weeks after that, we got a bill for nearly $10,000 for that 6-page document. Now, that's water under the bridge. But my feeling is that Steve Barshoff is a very competent attorney. He defended the town successfully for 5 years at cost, and of course everything costs money. And what we're talking about now is basically a municipal land use issue. It's not requiring a Park Avenue attorney to defend us against anything. It's simple.
We've never done this with the Woodstock Land Conservancy before, or any other land conservancy. The Land Conservancy is extraordinarily professional and good at what they do. They've done an excellent job. They've met with us, and they've gone through this easement tooth and nail, line by line. They've made their recommendation, and I, for one, want to make especially sure that nothing at all interferes with this or upsets it in any way. And I feel far more confident with Steve. If the board disagrees with me, then I think you should, board members should, I'll ask you, do you disagree with it or do you agree with it? You've heard from me, you've heard
Disagree with what?
With hiring Steve Barshoff.
We need to go with someone who has the experience in understanding conservation easements. Perhaps what we need to do is be very careful on not giving him too much free rein in terms of spending money. But I am going to second Chris's motion. I do believe Steve is the correct person to start on the process. $50 an hour in terms of what his ability is.
Where does $50 an hour come from?
The difference between the two attorneys.
I see.
Is really in real terms not going to be, it's not substantive as far as I'm concerned, because Steve offers a tremendous amount of skill
Well,
that he will bring to the table. So I am much more comfortable. It's no reflection on Drayton.
No.
She is a great attorney.
sure.
However, what we need someone at this point who can jump into this right away. There will be no learning curve. They will not have to go through this document again to start to discuss things with Jeff.
Okay.
And that's where I feel it will be much more efficient for the town.
I have a rescued poodle who today went through surgery and is now home and waiting for mommy to come home and make him feel good. I move we adjourn.
Except we have a motion on the
wait a
floor.
minute,
Terry, it's very obvious.
Hold it. At the beginning of the year that we have our attorneys.
I have brought this up at 3 different meetings, and you said to me, Chris, please hold it off till we meet with the Land Conservancy.
Right, that's exactly
That
what you
motion
said.
was put into it. I brought this motion up months ago. You asked me to put it off.
Yeah.
We have now met with the Land Conservancy, and I am
The
bringing
Land
it.
Conservancy has presented to us.
Yes.
You have met
Well,
with
we
them
met
now.
with
Yes,
them
you and
also.
I have met with the
But
Land
I'm not
Conservancy.
playing with
We've
words
actually,
here.
all 5 met with
I
them.
would like to have a word on this.
Well, I
Please.
just want to finish, Jay, and then you can take up after me. There is a motion on the floor. It was seconded, and we have to follow through on that. And it was discussed at a prior meeting, and it's in the records, and I brought it up
Okay.
before. I
Thank you.
put it off because you asked me to.
Thank you. I believe, I know that picking Steve Barshoff is a no-brainer. Not Steve Barshoff, he's got plenty of brains. He is intimately connected over a long, long time with this document. I think that to go to the guy that's been doing good work makes good sense. And I certainly will support going to Steve Barshoff to complete this process with the town and the WLC.
Okay, thank you, Jay. I don't think we can really afford Steve, but that's a different opinion because really a 5-line email returning a $10,000 document is not the way I want to spend the taxpayers' money. But that's just my opinion.
Well, let's
We
call
do
the vote.
not have to have a resolution. It does not require a resolution
does.
to hire excuse me.
It does.
Excuse me. It does not require a resolution for the town board to engage in professional services. That is in our purchasing policy. It does require that we engage an attorney and a land use attorney at the beginning of every year, which is what we do. We have a Drayton grant and we have a town attorney. Drayton is willing to work on this case, and there is no basis for hiring yet another attorney for a simple matter.
I
Well,
don't
I-
think
Well,
it's
Jeff, you have a
simple.
town board who disagrees with you.
I've heard your argument, and
Well,
I hear,
It's
and
not an argument, it's a statement.
I heard your statement, and I still support the concept of having Steve finish the job.
Okay, well, we're not going to do a resolution tonight because it wasn't
We
up
have
on
a
Friday.
resolution on the table.
No, we don't.
We do.
I'm sorry, that is in contravention of our standing policy, which you all pushed on this
Jeff,
board and you all voted for.
I
And I'm
guess,
moving to adjourn. Do I have a
No,
second?
no,
Jeff,
we are
you don't
going to
have a
vote.
Adjourned.
No.
No, you cannot do
Okay,
that, Jeff.
I am moving, I would like, could you call, just read the resolution on
I basically made a motion that we engage Steve Barshoff to finish the work on the easement and with the Land Conservancy and the town board.
that?
That was
$200 an
at
hour.
a rate of $200 an hour.
Okay, all in favor?
It's Bastille Day.
And it was seconded by